Your $10,000? We need real investors, not charity from my failed little brother. Derek laughed, sliding the investment contract back across his mahogany desk, while our mother nodded approvingly beside him. My phone buzzed with an encrypted message from my CFO. Ready to execute Operation Reality Check on your signal, sir. All $40 million. I kept my smile steady, my finger hovering over the reply button as I asked, "Are you absolutely sure you don't want to reconsider, Derek?" The conference room in Derek's startup headquarters was exactly what you'd expect from a tech bro who'd read too many Steve Jobs biographies. Minimalist furniture, exposed brick walls, and a ping-pong table visible through glass partitions. My brother, the golden child of the Morrison family, leaned back in his ergonomic chair with the confidence of someone who'd never truly failed at anything. "Listen, Tyler," Derek said, using that patronizing tone he'd perfected since we were kids. "I appreciate the gesture, really, but NeuralSync is about to close a Series B round with serious players. We're talking 8 figures, not whatever you've scraped together from... What is it you do again? Freelance coding?" "Something like that," I replied, turning the rejected contract over in my hands. Our mother, Patricia Morrison, reached across the table to pat my hand. "Sweetheart, it's wonderful that you want to support your brother, but Derek's right. This is the big leagues. He's got venture capitalists from Silicon Valley interested. Real money people. Real money people. If only they knew." "Besides," Derek added, pulling up a presentation on his laptop, "we're being very selective about our investor profile. We need partners who bring more than just capital. Connections, expertise, market credibility. No offense, Ty, but living in that studio apartment and driving a 10-year-old Honda doesn't exactly scream valuable investor contact." I nodded thoughtfully. "You're right. Image is everything in this business." "Exactly." Derek's eyes lit up, missing my sarcasm entirely. "Take our lead investor, for example. Nexus Ventures, they're putting in $40 million. 40! The managing partner is this mysterious tech genius who built 3 unicorn companies before 30. Never does public appearances, works through representatives, but the track record speaks for itself." My phone buzzed again. Another message from my CFO, Marcus. "The withdrawal order is loaded. Their bank is getting nervous. Just say when." "Mysterious tech genius, huh?" I mused. "Sounds impressive." "It is impressive," Mom chimed in. "Derek was just telling me how this person specifically sought out NeuralSync. They believe in his vision for AI-assisted medical diagnostics. It's validation of everything we always knew. That Derek was destined for greatness." There it was. The familiar sting of being the invisible son. The one who didn't go to MIT like Derek, who didn't get profiled in TechCrunch at 25, who didn't have Mom bragging about him at every family gathering. "Tyler's done well too," Derek said with false magnanimity. "Didn't you win some coding competition last year?" "A few years ago, actually," I corrected. "But you were busy with your first startup then, the one that crashed and burned, remember?" Derek's jaw tightened. Market Pro was ahead of its time. The failure taught me valuable lessons. "Right. And Mom and Dad's retirement fund taught you those lessons too, didn't it? All $500,000 worth?" "Tyler," Mom gasped. "That's not fair. Derek paid them back." "With money from his new investors," I pointed out, "which he's now using to fund NeuralSync. It's like a shell game, except with other people's retirements." "You don't understand business," Derek snapped. "That's why you are still coding websites for local restaurants while I'm building the future of healthcare technology." I pulled out my phone, pretending to check the time. In reality, I was reading Marcus's latest update. "Board meeting at Nexus in 10 minutes. They're expecting your dial-in to discuss the NeuralSync investment. Want me to handle it?" "I should go," I said, standing up. "Wouldn't want to waste any more of your valuable time with my pocket change." "Tyler, wait." Mom stood too. "Don't be like this. Your brother is trying to change the world. The least you could do is be supportive." "I am supportive," I said. "That's why I offered to invest. But apparently, My money isn't good enough. Derek rolled his eyes. It's not personal. It's business. When you understand the difference, maybe you'll be more successful. I paused at the door. One question, Derek. This Nexus Ventures, did you actually meet anyone from their team? Of course, he said defensively. I mean, not the managing partner. Like I said, they're very private. But their representatives? Absolutely. Why? Just curious. They sound almost too good to be true. That's your problem, Tyler. You think small. You can't imagine that someone would see the potential in what I'm building and bet big on it. You're probably right, I said. Good luck with everything. I made it to the elevator before sending the message to Marcus. Pull it all, every penny. By the time I reached my 10-year-old Honda, actually a deliberately modest Tesla with a custom wrap to make it look older, my phone was exploding with notifications. I sat in the driver's seat, watching the chaos unfold in real time through my various dashboards. Marcus called directly. It's done. $40 million withdrawn from NeuralSync's operating account. Their bank is freaking out. Derek's CFO is calling everyone. And the board meeting? Canceled it. Sent a formal notice that Nexus Ventures is terminating all agreements due to breach of investor confidence. What breach? The one where the CEO publicly stated he is being selective about investor profiles and turning away capital. Makes it sound like he doesn't need our money. I laughed despite myself. You recorded the meeting? Everything. Legal's already drafting the formal exit documents. Clean break. Fully within our rights. My phone rang. Derek. I let it go to voicemail. Then Mom called. Then Derek again. On the fourth call from my brother, I answered. Hey, Derek. How's the future of healthcare technology? What did you do? His voice was strained, panic bleeding through. What are you talking about? Nexus Ventures just pulled their funding. All of it. They cited some bullshit about investor confidence and fiduciary concerns. This happened right after you left. What did you do? I left your office and went to my car, I said truthfully. How could I possibly influence a major venture capital firm? I'm just a failed freelance coder, remember? This isn't funny. Without that funding, we're dead in the water. I've got 50 employees, lease obligations, server costs. Sounds like you need an investor, I observed. Maybe someone willing to put in, say, $10,000? Tyler, I swear to God. Actually, scratch that. My offer's gone up. It's going to cost you a lot more than 10 grand now. There was silence on the line. I could practically hear his mind racing, trying to connect dots that seemed impossible. There's no way, he finally said. You don't have that kind of influence. You don't have that kind of money. You're right, I agreed. I don't. Tyler Morrison, failed little brother, definitely doesn't have $40 million to throw around. Then how? But Thomas Morrison might. More silence. Thomas Morrison is a very private investor, I continued. Never does public appearances, works through representatives. Built 3 successful companies before 30, a cybersecurity firm sold to Microsoft, a fintech startup acquired by Goldman Sachs, and a little AI company that Google bought for a number we're not allowed to disclose. You're lying. Streamline Web, Crypto Secure, and MindBridge AI. Look them up. Check the founding documents. You'll find Thomas Morrison on all of them, though you won't find any photos or interviews. I've been very careful about maintaining privacy. But I would have known. Mom would have known. Would you? When's the last time any of you asked about my work? Really asked, not just the dismissive, how's the freelancing going before launching into Derek's latest achievements? I heard him typing frantically in the background. This can't be real, he muttered. Those companies sold for… Holy shit. Language, Derek. What would Mom say? Why? His voice cracked. Why hide this? Why let us think you were struggling? I wasn't hiding anything. I just stopped correcting your assumptions. Do you know how liberating it is when your family has zero expectations? When every holiday isn't a performance review? When you can eat dinner without someone asking why you haven't revolutionized an industry yet? So this was all, what, some kind of test? No, Derek. This was me trying to help my brother. Despite everything, the condescension, the dismissive comments, the constant comparisons, I believed in neural sync. The technology is solid. Your vision, when you're not drowning in your own ego, is actually impressive. Then why? Because you needed to learn something Mom and Dad never taught you. Humility, respect, the understanding that success doesn't make you better than anyone else, and that the people you step on while climbing might be the ones holding your ladder. I heard a commotion in the background. Voices raised, doors slamming. I have to go, Derek said. The team is panicking, but this conversation isn't over. Take your time, I said. I'll be at my studio apartment, maybe grab some ramen in my beat-up Honda. He hung up. The next 2 hours were a masterclass in watching someone's world unravel in real time. Through my network of contacts and monitoring systems, I tracked the chaos at Neural Sync, emergency board meeting called 3 senior engineers submitting resignations, CFO demanding explanations, Derek's co-founder threatening to leave, 2 other investors getting cold feet. My phone rang. Mom, Tyler Morrison, you tell me right now what's happening. Hi, Mom. How's your day? Don't you dare. Derek is having a breakdown. Something about Nexus Ventures and hidden identities and you being some kind of secret millionaire. Have you been filling his head with nonsense? Did you ask him about the companies? What companies? Streamline Web, CryptoSecure, and MindBridge AI. Did you look them up? Silence, then typing. These are real companies, she said slowly. Worth, oh my God. Surprise. But you live in a studio. You wear the same hoodie every family dinner. You borrowed $20 for gas last Thanksgiving. I paid you back, didn't I? And that hoodie is comfortable. Mark Zuckerberg wears the same thing every day too. Don't you dare compare yourself to… Wait, are you actually… wealthy? Successful? Everything you always wished I would be? Yes, Mom. Have been for years. But why wouldn't you tell us? I tried. Remember Christmas 3 years ago? I mentioned I'd sold a company. You said, "That's nice, dear," and then spent 40 minutes talking about Derek's Series A funding. That's not… I would have… Or Dad's birthday 2 years ago. I offered to pay off the house. You laughed and said I should focus on paying my own rent first. We thought you were joking. Because you'd already decided who I was, the underachiever, the one who needed protecting, the contrast to Derek's brilliance. It was easier to let you believe it than to constantly justify my existence. I heard her sink into a chair. We're terrible parents. No, Mom. You're human. You had expectations and I didn't fit them. Derek did. It happens. How much? She asked quietly. How much are you really worth? Does it matter? Would you love me more if I said 100 million? Less if it was only 50? Of course not. Then let's not put a number on it. Just know that I'm fine, more than fine. And despite everything, I wanted to help Derek because he's my brother, and I believe in what he's building. He turned you away, she said, anger creeping into her voice. That ungrateful. He turned away Tyler the failure, not Thomas the investor. He couldn't see past his own assumptions, just like we couldn't, she finished. Oh, honey, I'm so sorry. I need to go, Mom. I have a call with Marcus, he's my CFO, about the whole Nexus situation. You're really Nexus Ventures? I'm the managing partner. Have been since I founded it 4 years ago. And you're really pulling Derek's funding? Already done. Good. I blinked. Good? He needs to learn this lesson. We spoiled him, built up his ego, made him think he was better than everyone else, including you, especially you. She paused. Will you give him another chance? That depends on Derek. After we hung up, I drove, in my disguised Tesla, to my actual home. Not the studio apartment I kept for appearances, but the penthouse downtown. Marcus was waiting in my office, laptop open, multiple screens showing market data and communications. "The financial press has gotten wind of it," he said. "TechCrunch is sniffing around. Major funding pulled from hot healthcare startup. Derek's going to have a PR nightmare. Any word from him?" 17 missed calls to the Nexus offices. His lawyer sent a cease and desist, claiming breach of contract. And? Our lawyers laughed. Literally. I heard them through the door. I settled into my desk chair, looking out at the city skyline. What's our exposure if we let this play out? 0. We're completely covered legally, but? Your brother's company will likely fold within 2 weeks without bridge funding. The tech is too early stage to attract new investors quickly, especially with the stigma of losing their lead funding. Those 50 employees will be out of work. I know. The technology, the AI diagnostic system, it's actually revolutionary. Could save lives. I know that too. My phone buzzed. A text from Derek. "Please, can we talk? Really talk?" Then another. I was wrong. About everything. And another. I need my brother, not Thomas Morrison, not Nexus, just my brother. I stared at the messages for a long moment. "Sir?" Marcus prompted. "What do you want to do?" "Set up a meeting," I said. "Tomorrow morning, but not at his office, and not at Nexus." "Where then?" "Mom's house, the kitchen table, where we used to do homework together, before everything got complicated." Marcus smiled. "I'll arrange it. Funding prepared? Full 40 million available, but with conditions. Major conditions. Such as? He steps down as CEO, takes a CTO role. We bring in experienced management. He goes through leadership coaching, and most importantly, yes? He publicly apologizes to every small investor he's ever dismissed, starting with me. The next morning, I arrived at my childhood home in my real car. A modest but new BMW. No more pretending. Derek's Lamborghini was already in the driveway, looking as out of place in our middle-class neighborhood as he'd always tried to be. I found them in the kitchen, Mom, Dad, and Derek. My brother looked like he hadn't slept, his usually perfect hair disheveled, his designer clothes wrinkled. "Tyler," he started, then stopped. "Or should I call you Thomas?" "Tyler's fine. Thomas is just for legal documents and people I don't trust." He flinched but nodded. "I've been up all night, reading about your companies, trying to understand how I missed it, how we all missed it. You saw what you expected to see. I was an ass. Yes. I treated you like you were beneath me. Yes. I destroyed Mom and Dad's retirement fund. Yes. And you still tried to help me. Yes." He looked up, tears in his eyes. "Why?" "Because you're my brother, and because the 8-year-old who taught me to ride a bike is still in there somewhere, underneath all the Silicon Valley bullshit." Derek laughed, a broken sound. "I don't deserve your help." "Probably not, but those 50 employees do, and the patients who could benefit from your technology do." "So you'll restore the funding?" "With conditions." I laid out my terms. With each one, Derek nodded, his ego visibly deflating. When I finished, he was silent for a long moment. "You want me to step down as CEO," he said finally. "You're a brilliant technologist, Derek, but you're a terrible leader. The CEO role was always about status for you, not about building something meaningful." "And the public apology?" "Every entrepreneur starts somewhere. Every successful person was once unknown. The way you treat people when you think they can't help you says everything about who you really are." He stood up, walked to the window, looking out at the backyard where we'd played as kids. "You know what the worst part is? I've spent so many years trying to prove I was better than you. And it turns out you were always better than me. Not at technology or business, but at being a decent human being. It's not a competition, Derek. It never was. That's what you need to learn. He turned back to face me. I accept your conditions. All of them. I nodded and pulled out my phone. Marcus? Execute the funding restoration. Full amount, new terms as discussed. Already done, sir. The wire should hit their account within the hour. Derek stared at me. That fast? I never wanted to hurt you, Derek. I just wanted you to see me. Really see me. I see you now, he said quietly. And I'm sorry it took losing everything to open my eyes. Mom, who'd been uncharacteristically quiet, suddenly burst into tears. My boys, my successful, brilliant boys, and I almost ruined everything with my favoritism and blind spots. We all have blind spots, Mom, I said. The important thing is learning to see past them. Over the next several months, the transformation was remarkable. Derek threw himself into the CTO role with newfound humility. He personally called every small investor he'd ever dismissed, apologizing and inviting them to participate in future rounds. He started mentoring young entrepreneurs, especially those from backgrounds that didn't scream Silicon Valley elite. The company thrived under professional management. The AI diagnostic system moved through trials faster than projected, showing remarkable results in early detection of several types of cancer. Lives were being saved. And our family? We started over. Weekly dinners where no one talked about work. Holidays where success wasn't measured in funding rounds or press mentions. Mom learned to see both her sons as they really were, not as she'd imagined them to be. One evening, 6 months after the confrontation, Derek and I sat on the back porch of our parents' house, sharing a beer. I've been thinking, he said, about secrets and success and family. Yeah? You gave up so much. Recognition, understanding, respect. Just to have peace. Wasn't it lonely? Sometimes, I admitted. But loneliness was better than constantly feeling like I wasn't enough. You were always enough, Tyler. I was just too insecure to see it. I needed you to be less so I could feel like more. And now? Now I know better. Success isn't about being better than someone else. It's about being better than who you were yesterday. Look at you, getting all philosophical. I have a good teacher, he said, raising his beer. To brothers, the real kind, not the competitive kind. To brothers, I agreed. As we sat there watching the sunset, I thought about the long road that had led to this moment. The years of hiding in plain sight, of choosing peace over recognition, of building an empire while my family thought I was failing. It hadn't been easy. But sitting there with my brother, really with him for the first time in decades, I knew it had been worth it. Sometimes the greatest success isn't in what you achieve, but in who you become along the way. And sometimes, just sometimes, the people who underestimate you the most are the ones who need you to show them what really matters. The NeuralSync story became Silicon Valley legend, though the full truth never made it to TechCrunch. The narrative was simply about a mysterious investor who pulled funding and then restored it, transforming a cocky CEO into a humble leader. But for our family, it was more than a business story. It was a reminder that love isn't measured in achievements or bank accounts, but in the willingness to see each other clearly, flaws and all, and choose connection over competition. And that $10,000 investment Derek had mocked? I never did make it. Instead, I invested something far more valuable, the truth. And it paid dividends that no venture capital could ever match.